Get ready to dive deep into Buffalo's vibrant music scene because we're stepping inside the fabulous Flamingo Lounge for the 8th season of local music magic. In the Flamingo Lounge with Rockabilly Greg is more than just a podcast. It's a collection of stories that delves deep into the vibrant musical history of Buffalo and Western New York, creating a living archive where each story adds a unique thread to the overall narrative. This season, we're taking a deep dive into the heart of the music community. Join us for personal conversations with musicians and industry pros, where we celebrate the collective creativity that makes our favorite artists, venues, organizations, and events so special. But before we get started, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors, CatsLikeUs.com, Diamond Hawk Golf Course and Pub, and valued supporter Buffalo Ironworks for helping to keep the music alive. In March 2014, a performance at Buffalo's PS45 revealed a profound truth: music transcends language. After hearing Brahms, a young student poignantly identified the music's theme as love, prompting founders Elise Alaimo, Yuki Numata Resnick, and Virginia Barron to address a critical gap in local arts education. What began in September 2014 as a modest program for 17 violinists has evolved into a cornerstone of the Buffalo arts community. Now celebrating its 10th anniversary, Buffalo String Works provides comprehensive string instruction to 160 students across 3 campuses, dedicated to fostering excellence and community through music. Joining us this week from Buffalo String Works is Development Manager Whitney Dann and Outreach and Engagement Manager Thant. Ladies, welcome to the Flamingo Lounge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks.
yeah, it's great to have you. I know ran into you at an AFP event, and I know also I'm on the board of the Sportsman's Americana Music Foundation, and I believe your executive director visited us a couple of years ago to tell us about and of course we're good friends with Yuki also. Actually, I didn't realize we sponsored the Borderland Band Camp, and there was this young kid who was a bass player, and he had the shades on, and I'm like telling Jeff Myers, I'm like, man, that kid, he's cool. He's School of Rock, man. And she says, yeah, that's Yuki's son.
Yeah.
I said, he's got it going, man. He's cool. So, yeah, so I thought it would be great to have you down there. So many great, wonderful nonprofits here in Buffalo, and especially nonprofits that are catering to the music community and trying to fill that void and that gap where the schools kind of can't do it for whatever reason, politics, whatever you want to get into. But there's a void, and I know the foundation tries to do that with providing instruments to kids, but you guys actually are providing lessons, and boy, you've grown from 17 to 160. That's quite the accomplishment in a relatively short period of time. So So Whitney, I'm going to start with you. So first of all, give me a background of how the organization got started.
Yeah. So, I mean, you kind of mentioned it there that it was that chamber music performance at International School 45. In which they performed for the kids at International School. And the kids were they were so enamored by the instruments that they kind of were like, well, when can we play?
Right.
And the founders were like, yeah, when can you play? So then they started Buffalo String Works, primarily only with violin students. Okay. So as you said, it was 17 violin students. It was all volunteer staff, all volunteer faculty. It was just the beginning. Right. And then fast forward to now, we have, like you said, 160 students. We have 3 different program locations that we teach lessons out of. And we teach violin, viola, cello, and bass to students. So it's definitely grown. And we have faculty that are employees now.
Oh, nice.
And we have 6 staff members.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. So now, like, where in the city are these locations at?
Yeah. So the main location and the first location that kind of grew as Buffalo String Works is on the west side of Buffalo. It's on Niagara Street. And that has been like the home for Buffalo String Works for a while. Originally, lessons were in the Dream Center on Lafayette. And then when Buffalo String Works was big enough and had enough funding, they secured a location on Niagara Street. And that location is our biggest one. It has about 95 kids in it.
Wow.
That runs like Monday through Friday. Kids come 3 days a week for 2 hours each day. So it's 6 hours of music lessons every day at that location. And so there's some days, like on Wednesdays, we have 75 students in there all at one time.
Right.
So it's very chaotic, but it's good chaos. And then our second location that we opened, I think it was right around 2022 when I joined Buffalo Stringworks, was in the East Side. It's in a charter school called Nativity Miguel Middle School.
Okay. Yep.
And that's primarily serving middle schoolers, ages, I think it's grades like 5 through 8. And those are more like one-on-one lessons now. We started trying to do group lessons just like on Niagara Street. But over the time, we've kind of realized that different communities need different things, and the ways that different communities learn is not always the same.
Right.
So we've tailored that to be like one-on-one individual lessons. And I think there's like 30 students at Nativity Miguel that are taking individual lessons on, fantastic. I think it's like violin, viola, and bass. And then we have our last program, which is the most recent one, is like a seniors program.
Oh, wow.
And it's at the Westminster Community House, and the program is put on by Buffalo Federation of Neighborhood Centers, BFNC. So we have 16 seniors, 55 plus, that take violin lessons. I think it's like every other week.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that's one of our newest programs there. So
now, is that kind of what you do as the outreach manager? Are you looking for those new types of programs and how to get people involved? Or
when I started BSW, I was 21st, so 2021. So at that time, my role is different. But now I just, because we are planning to reach out more students from different community, and we would like to see different diversity, because Buffalo have a lot of ethnic group and diversity, like if individually you can see which part is which diversities that they live. So that's why. And like what Whitney said, like in Wednesday 75, Thursday, Friday we have a 65 students. So only we have available room is Monday and Tuesday. But how do we do for next year? How do we organize? Yeah.
Now, are you strictly teaching classical, or are you teaching all kinds of genres of music on the instruments?
That's a good question. So it seems like it would only be classical because they're classical instruments.
Right.
But Buffalo Stringworks ascribes to the El Sistema model. And El Sistema is a type of like community engagement work that was developed in Venezuela in the 1970s. And it's essentially teaching youth development and leadership through community music. And so there was a youth orchestra model in Venezuela, and that's kind of where this came from. So there's an El Sistema USA organization, and we're part of that. And so we take our curriculum from a lot of, it's heavily influenced by that. It's our own curriculum, so it's unique to us. We have some Suzuki methods for our younger students because it's tried and true.
Right.
Getting kids to learn the notes and learn the instrument. So some of those Suzuki methods are incorporated, but then as they get older, we try to incorporate their like traditional songs. So Buffalo Stringworks primarily serves a lot of refugee and immigrant families, in which classical music is not their type of music that they traditionally listen to. So how do we provide programming that is culturally responsive to those communities? Because they're not interested in playing all of the classics. So we try to integrate different types of folk music that the communities have. I know our education director, Andrew Borkowski, he has done a lot of parent surveys, asking them what types of music they listen to, what songs, seeing if he can incorporate it into strings, because often the instruments are not the same as violin, viola, cello, or bass, so we got to figure out how to like transpose it kind of. But we've also worked with some composers over the years who have written pieces specifically for our students, incorporating those folk songs. So we try to really incorporate their culture wherever we can.
Right.
So that way the kids are learning about it, but as well, like when we have our concerts, the parents are also seeing a bit of themselves in the music.
Wow.
So,
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, are they learning how to eventually reading music too and
oh
following
yeah.
the notes?
Yep.
And,
yeah. So our youngest students, they work on a lot of the oral skills. So listening to the notes being correct. And then when they get, so we have like a structure of teams essentially. We have 4 teams, A through D. So D is the youngest and A is the oldest. And typically for right now, the way that our enrollment is you start at Team D. You learn kind of the basics of music, all of that stuff. You learn the note names and everything. And then once they move into Team C is where they start to read the music. And then once they get up to Team A, like they're pretty advanced.
Right.
So
yeah. Now, where do they get their instruments from?
that is also a good question. We actually have over 400 instruments in our instrument library.
Wow.
95% of which have been donated to us.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. Most of the violins and violas, I would almost say like 99% of those have all been donations. Folks took violin when they were younger. They kept it up in their attic. It's in their garage. It's, covered in dust. And we're like, we will take it. If it makes a sound, we will take it. A kid will definitely learn to play it. Right. So we have all kinds of sizes of violins and violas. And then 2 years ago now, the Cummings Foundation gave us a grant to purchase the remaining large instruments that we had. So we were renting a lot of cellos and basses because they're just large. And people don't typically donate those instruments because they're usually worth a lot, which I totally understand. So we actually got a grant to buy the rest of the instruments that we needed to fill our library.
Well,
so
that's great.
we own them all.
Right.
And the kids get it all for free. So they get their instrument for free. The lessons are for free. So they can,
Now, do they get to keep those instruments when they're done, or?
So not usually.
Usually we assign violin, viola for like they can have it, take it home, and until they resign the program. If they don't want to resign, if they want to go until graduation, it's graduation like high school graduation. So we can assign we change the size when they grow up, like,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
But cello, bass, we don't have enough. So like what Whitney is playing already. So we only have at the side, and sometimes if it's a student is like a Team A or B, if they want to practice at home, we will assign the take-home cello and bass. So, yeah. So,
You answered my next question. So, because it's like how kids obviously got to practice at home. So
so we assign them a cello or a bass as a home instrument. So they have 2. Technically, if they're a cello and bass player, if they want to practice at home, we assign them a home instrument so they don't have to take it on the bus or carry it through the school halls.
Taking a bass on the bus is not, especially if you're a little guy, right?
Yeah. So we definitely have just enough instruments to do that. And then, as A was saying, if they want to keep the instrument over the summer and they're still interested in being in the program the next year, then we're fine with that. And if they graduate and want an instrument for themselves, sometimes it can be worked out. It just depends on what we have in our inventory.
Sure.
But we don't have that many students that have graduated just yet. Because we are in our 11th year now or something. If I can do the math right.
only we have 11 or 12 students.
Yeah. And so when we had students starting, they were 7, and some of them had been in the program like the whole time. And so they like just graduated high school recently. So we haven't had that many students graduate yet. So that's still kind of uncharted territory for us.
Now, do you actually have like any luthiers that help you keep all those instruments like in tune and in shape? And because I know even with guitars, kind of with our wonderful weather, the dry weather and the humidity.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of our teachers can do very like small things,
Right.
string changes, putting up a bridge, stuff like that. Our education director is a little bit more of a luthier. He's just worked with the instruments longer.
Right.
And then for any big types of repairs, we go to Mark Monaco at Monaco's Violins. He's a really great partner, and he's worked on our instruments for a long time. So he's a great one to go to. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Where let's give him a plug. Where again was he?
It's at Monaco's Violins. It's Mark Monaco. He's
Nice.
the owner.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Don't want to. Everyone who helps. I mean, it's again, it's such a great community that so many people are like, let's help.
Yeah.
Because music's so important, right? Especially getting the young kids, involved in it early. I know my little 4-year-old granddaughter, she loves music. She's a K-pop fan.
Yep.
K-pop Demon Fighters or whatever.
Yep.
That's
how all of our students are. They love that.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I don't know where you got that taste from. But hey, I'll, whatever music, speaks to them and all that. Yeah. Now, do you also have like electric cellos and electric instruments too? No, not yet.
Not yet. No.
3 years ago, one of the cellist teacher, he resigned as Alice. He has an electric one, so sometimes he bring his own electric one,
right,
and show and teach the student. But then after he resigned because of his busy schedule. So
I've had a band on Sunday Rain, and they're
Alex
their
Cousins.
Alex has that
he was our teacher, Alex Cousins.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was the one who he would bring in his electric cello.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's great.
He's been doing some really cool stuff with strings. I mean, with his buffalo strings, and it's I was like, I had him down here a couple times, and they played. And I'm like, man, this is so cool to have an actual cello as opposed to a traditional bass, electric bass, in a band. It gives it a different flavor.
Definitely.
And especially with the, with a bowed instrument as opposed to something that's, plucked. It's pretty cool. So.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. He's in a lot of bands.
Yeah.
A lot of our teachers are in a lot of different groups around, either acoustic groups or, other types of bands. So they're kind of all over the place. Yeah.
Now, who do you have for your teachers? Are there a lot of our local, violinists and stuff teaching also at the school? And
so we have a mixture of teachers. So some of them are like music teachers at the local schools. And some of them teach music at the colleges. Some of them are like Fredonia music instructors. Some of them are from UB. And then other teachers have their own private studios. And so they have their own studios, and then they come and do Buffalo String Works as well.
Nice.
To provide the lessons. So we have 13 teaching artists this year. And it's just a mix of, a bunch of teachers from all over. It's kind of whoever we can find when the season starts, but they're all really great. And the way that the kids take to the teachers is so fun because they come in and they don't want to hang out with their friends. They want to be with the teacher, walking around the program with what's the teacher doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys are so funny.
During the snack break time, they are in my office. So
the kids come and see A during snack time.
Oh, nice.
They're just running around. So yeah.
Now, what's the youngest age group that you have?
So we teach anywhere from 5 to 18 at Niagara Street. That's probably the largest age range is the 5 to 18 at Niagara Street. So I want to say we don't have any 5-year-olds anymore. No, they're all 6 now.
Okay.
But
7.
7? Oh, they're all 7 now.
Wow.
They're getting so old.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we can recruit anywhere from 5.
Right.
It kind of depends on the surrounding schools and what their need is. So right now we have partnership with International School right now, because they have a strings program, but they do have a bit of a waiting list for it. And so if there are students that want to take part in the program, but they don't have space for them, we try to bring them to our program so they can still learn their instrument, and be able to play it when they can over at School 45. So we have a couple of relationships like that with surrounding schools as part of our like recruitment. So, you know, getting all of the 6-year-olds to come in is easy because they're like, yeah, I love music. But sometimes we see that our students, when they get older, you know, when they get into middle school, they have other things they want to do. They want to play sports. They want to do chess club. They want to do whatever.
Right.
Some of them, you know, want to get jobs to help out their families. And so we try to accommodate them as best as we can, but then also how do we fill those spots? Since right now our model is very much like you come in when you're young. So we're working on like a recruitment restructuring of the whole program. So that's going to change. But right now we're working with a lot of the schools to like backfill spots.
Right.
So
now then, if I was 17, would I be eligible to come and be part of the program? Even though I might phase out in a year?
If you have a music experience, it's kind of like if you play violin, viola, cello, or bass, is based on like how long, like a 1 year, 2 year, and it's dependent on what we need, and then we can add the music education director, Andrew Koski, and we can add in the class, like a team A or like a band ensemble. That's we have been doing.
Now for that older group that you said 55 and up now, is there like any age group can come in and learn a stringed instrument? Or
well, so that one, so that's like an interesting kind of partnership that we have, because that began with, I don't remember exactly what the
it's a lifelong learning in the 2022 we did it. But we don't have no.
Yeah, because it started as what we called the Lifelong Learners Program, and it was essentially a healing, like arts heal program, in response to the May 14th top shooting, in which a group on the East Side wanted to provide, like, essentially kind of like music therapy, art therapy, to older seniors who might have been deeply affected by that. To help them heal from the traumas that they might have experienced. And so that's truly how it began.
Wow.
And the folks that were interested in joining that were the ones who began our class. And we've kind of carried it over. So that program, the pilot kind of ended. But the Buffalo Federation for Neighborhood Centers saw the value in all of it, so they wanted to continue it.
Well, that's great.
So they kind of like took over the program. So we still have that group that we're working with. It's just like that's kind of how it's like morphed.
Sure.
So that one was very like not selective in like who came in, but it was kind of like these are the people who they wanted to help most. So those were the ones that were put into the program.
Yeah.
We're looking into doing some other adult programs. But, you know, we're trying to figure out where it fits and all of the extra work that goes into it. So right now, like that program is very like secure in the people who can enter. But we're looking into maybe exploring a little bit more of adult programming.
Well, that's great, because I've been involved in a lot of different, nonprofits, and especially music and arts. And it seems like, the kids get a lot of the attention, but then all of a sudden, you go to college and all right, there's nothing left, or for, Unfortunately, I would qualify for that senior program just by the age requirement. But it's nice to, to see also, too, that you're not, that it's all part of the community, and that, all age levels really want to be able to, because, you're never too old, right?
Right. And I think, too, like Buffalo Stringworks is primarily, sure, we teach music education, but it's also about just like community development, youth development, leadership. So we try to, we're not making the next Grammy Award winning musician. And that's okay. But we're giving the students something that is going to help them with whatever they choose to do.
Oh, sure.
And so by having this adult program, it's also like giving the adults the opportunity to develop community and, share their interests with one another, have more social interaction. So it's kind of like music for the betterment of community.
Yeah.
Is kind of how I think of it.
And of course, music is a team sport, especially unless you're doing a solo, right?
Right.
But if you're in an ensemble, an orchestra, you got to listen, right? You can't
and that's one of the things so we have different, like, what we call essential skills that we measure. And like collaboration is one, resilience is one, leadership is one. And that's all kind of like, how well do they recover from a mistake in their group? How well do they help their friends if they missed a note or something like that? So yeah, we're definitely always looking for how do the kids interact with each other? Because that's kind of what it's about. We're just giving them the opportunity to have those experiences.
Yeah.
So
well, I've been fortunate, with the Sportsman's Foundation, we sponsored some kids for the Borderland Band Camp. I had some of them down here to be on the podcast, and they were, I don't know, I think the youngest was 10, Yuki's son, was playing bass, and I want to be like Yuki's son when I grow up, because I thought he was the coolest cat there was. And
Cool.
But these kids seemed, they were so young, and you hear so much, these kids these days are just on their phones and they don't know how to communicate and do this.
Yeah.
Man, they were right on. And some of the stories I heard was they all came to, the first session, didn't know each other. Maybe a couple of them might have known each other, but within 10 minutes, they were all together, forming their groups, coming up with their ideas.
Yeah.
They really, the music really seems to do something different, that other things don't seem to do. I can't put my finger on it. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but it certainly seems like music has something.
They do call it the universal language.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And we see that too. We have some students in our program that English might not be their first language, but the other kids are always trying to talk to them and interact with them and show them fun things. And it's just so cool to see that through music, they're able to kind of talk to each other.
Yeah. I know when my kids were real young, we used to live in Batavia, and every Wednesday in the summer, they would have the city band would come and play a concert in the park across the street from our house. And 2-3 years old, they'd be over there and they'd be dancing and enjoying and having a ball. Of course, some of the old fogies would get, tell those kids to sit down. It's like, no, they're having fun. Just leave them alone. It's like, no, if the music's making them express themselves, it's like, no, that's what they should be doing, in my opinion. Not sitting there like like a brick, just that's not enjoying music as far as I'm concerned. You feel that, and you want to do that. So I know I mentioned my little 4-year-old granddaughter, she seems to take an interest in music. So she has a little drum. I bought her a little guitar for Christmas, and
nice,
hopefully like
Fingers
you said,
crossed.
she might not turn into a rock star, but it's one of those things where if they have that basics and the basis of music, you could always sit down and join someone in, and it's there's only and it's one of those things where I think a friend of mine used to be in the music business, and he said only 0.4% of people who try to make it like actually make it, kind of to the levels of, well, no one, not even that percentage makes it to like a Taylor Swift level.
For sure.
That's few and far between, but there is a way you can make money, doing music. And you guys, you said you're not musicians, right?
Nope.
But you're kind of in the music business, right? Teaching kids and helping them. So let me kind of use that. So Whitney, what is your responsibility with the organization?
So as the development manager, I'm kind of in charge of a lot of the fundraising initiatives. I mainly work with individual gifts, so that's like your average donor. So I take in lots of the requests that people have for donations and send out all of the handwritten thank you notes that people get. I also work with like our events. So we have a couple of concerts and we have a benefit that's coming up too. And so I basically plan the benefit and I do a lot of the like fundraising portions of the events.
Right.
So like if it's a concert, so we have 2 annual concerts every year for the kids, a winter community concert and then a spring showcase. Both of those are free to the public. But like if there's any type of like fundraising raffle or anything that we can do, that's kind of my jam.
Right.
And then for the benefit, I'm in charge of that whole planning and execution of that. So that's kind of what I manage.
Yeah. Now, do you get like non-students to come and like perform and people who are?
Yeah. So we try to make it really community centered. Last year we had Marcus Lolo come with a group from the Love Supreme School of Music.
Nice. Okay.
And they played like a nice little jazz ensemble, which was really fun. And then we also had one of our teaching artists he's in a bunch of different groups, and the group that we had last year was called Comienzos.
Okay.
And it's like folk world music. So that was really cool. And then we also had the teaching faculty and some of our volunteers. They performed a piece that was composed specifically for our students to play last year. And that was kind of like the first playthrough of it that people were going to actually be able to hear. So we tried to make that one, incorporate as many different local musicians as we could. And this year, same kind of vibe. So we're going to actually have some students perform with some teachers this year to get them on stage, because the benefit's at the CAS, which has a beautiful stage. And I'm really excited for some kids to be able to play on a stage like that.
Yeah.
Because they might not have had that opportunity before. So that's going to be one of the groups. And then we also have Nusantara Arts performing, which is an Indonesian kind of nonprofit that teaches gamelan. And they have Balinese and Javanese gamelan. So, yeah, they actually partner with Buffalo Stringworks, and they're teaching our youngest students both Javanese and Balinese gamelan instruments. And so I thought it would be nice if they could come and perform for our donors. So they're going to perform. And then the last group that we have is another group that last year, Comienzos, Brian DeJesus was in that group. He was also connected with this group, Divi Romi, which is like an Africana vibe jam group. And 2 of our other students are in that group as well. So we have kind of kids scattered throughout. So, but same kind of deal, like community centered.
Oh, that's cool. Marcus was one of those kids I had down here for band camp.
On
the podcast. Marcus, cool, good, and he's in Comienzos too. I believe. We had the foundation had them perform at our holiday show back in December, right before Christmas. So those kids, they were fantastic.
They're great.
I'm like, everyone was like,
our students,
how old are you kids?
Recently performed with the Love Supreme School of Music students for Sean Ryan's inauguration. It was BSW and Love Supreme School of Music kids up there. So they're so good. Like, I think it's so cool. We've been very proud at the foundation. We've been sponsoring the Love Supreme School the last couple of years. And it's nice to see, the money used to help them grow. And I know Yuki was kind of responsible for helping us connect with that. So that was always it's Buffalo is so much that way. I mean, there's so many tentacles, and everyone's also connected and wanting to help, and for sure,
it's really refreshing in my eyes to see that, to see that. And obviously it seems like you've got some students that are going on to do some cool stuff. You never know, they may be winning that Grammy. So I
mean, that would be great. But it's not the ultimate goal for us.
No,
but we would cheer them on the whole way. So
I mean, give a little plug. I mean, as you can see over there, I am a Swiftie. And I love Folklore and Evermore. Those are my 2 favorite. Of course, Yuki played on those 2 records.
Yeah, she did.
So it's the Buffalo connection. I always love to do that. People are like, what? You mean there's a Buffalo connection to Taylor Swift? I'm like, yeah. a Buffalo connection to everybody.
Yeah.
But no, I just think it's so cool to, and of course, I think during COVID, all the parts for those they're all done all over the place. And, and Taylor pulled them all together, but still, I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
I would think that's got to be harder though, to
have
record
individually,
like by yourself, and not have everybody together so you can listen and react and, all that good kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost like you'd have to be really perfect. So you're like right on and not making mistakes. But I also like a few mistakes in my music. I think it sounds a little bit less auto-tuned,
True.
less
true.
perfect. I mean, like you said, the mistakes. I mean, I've done theater and I've done music, and you sing a wrong lyric, you just keep going, right?
Yep.
Ella Fitzgerald made a very famous record where she forgot the lyrics to Mac the Knife and just kind of scattered it right through it. Scoot it up, pop, pop,
Yeah.
And was famous for it,
Yeah.
That's how a pro covers themselves, right?
Yeah.
Because it happens, you forget your parts, and
for sure.
you lose your spot on the page when you're following along with the music, and then what do you do? So now, what do you do as far as your responsibilities are with the organization?
My responsibility, like day-to-day running, like Monday to Friday, and communication with the student, and then supporting the family, what they need, what they sometimes in the community they need like someone to trust, to ask for help. So that's for their also including for their student, because most of the student we serve and we provide is from refugee, immigrant, minority, so from the Buffalo, the low income people. So that's why we support them, even not only student, we support the family, what they need, whatever they need. I contact to different other organization. If they need for help, I contact for help. And then now we have a new staff member, so that's how we working together with like a mental health, like music is like therapy, those kind of stuff. We start working on it. Yeah, that's just like my new outreach things.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, are you the person? So if I wanted to get involved in the organization, would you be the one I call up to say, hey, I want to volunteer?
Yeah, that is supposed to be Sarah J. She is the one who assigning for the. But I'm whatever I saw, whatever I go to event, I say even you say only learning the music. No, not only the learning the music. You can hang out with our student, and you can learn the culture. You can learn the how different. Even like me, I learn a lot from them because generation gap, culture gap. Music is universal language. But then so I learn a lot from them. Even I'm a musician. Sometimes the teacher Missy, can you watch my student for a couple of minutes? I'm okay, play G strings, play F strings. Missy, there's no F string. Sorry.
That's right. Oops.
Yeah, oops.
I was just testing you.
Yeah. So it's okay, and then
pass. So now I would imagine though there's other opportunities for people to volunteer besides just teaching the music, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you got lots of different things that you need, as all nonprofits do,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo Stringworks began as a volunteer-run organization, so I think there's always some volunteer opportunities. So yeah, we have you can volunteer in the classrooms, or you can help me with administration things.
Right.
Yeah.
So I send out all of our bulk mailing and everything, and that's a lot of pieces of paper that have to be put into envelopes. So helping us in the office, just preparing things for the donors is a way to get involved. And then also at our events, so at our benefit event, at our concerts, we need lots of volunteers because especially at our concerts, that's when we have all of our students there.
Right.
So we need some people to kind of corral like 130 kids all at one time.
Yeah.
Like to do things that we need. So volunteers are always helpful at the concerts. And then also like with any of like the raffles or anything, like I always need people to sell tickets. If I could clone myself like 3 times, then I could just do it. But fortunately, I'm only one person.
Yeah.
And like the other staff, you know, they're assisting with students, or we have a communications person who's taking photos, and you know, Melinda, our ED, is like up on the stage talking to people. So it's like, you know, it's kind of all hands on deck, and then we need more hands to be on deck. So volunteer opportunities are always available there.
Yeah. Well, that's, I'll open my mouth because that's usually what I do. I know, you know, as far as I don't have a lot of bucks to, you know, donate, but I have time, you know, and I like to do that. So, you know.
And that's an amazing, it's a great way to give.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell people donations are not only monetary. They're not only money donations. Donations can be, you know, your time. It can also be your expertise.
Sure.
You know, I've had some volunteers that have helped me with like systems and databases and all of that stuff. So there's tons of ways that you can give, not only to us, but to nonprofits in Buffalo.
Sure.
Like you can volunteer so many different places. For us, we try to keep it as like, we have like one-off volunteer opportunities, and then we have like weekly volunteer opportunities that are like recurring, so that way people can kind of manage their own time, because a lot of our volunteers volunteer with other organizations, and I don't want to take all their time. So I'm trying to, you know, almost make it as easy for the people as possible.
And for me, I'm more of that one time guy, you know, but you know, hey, someone's, because I work with a lot of nonprofits where I work, and you know, they're always looking, like you said, someone to sell the raffle tickets, someone to help sign people in, someone to corral people or whatever. There's always room for more people to help out. And you know, I helped out with the mental health advocates recently. You know, they had their yoga-thon, right? So they're like, hey, we need to just be the check-in guy, you know. So 2 of us at
it's so important. It helps the events go so much smoother,
right?
And you know, there's so much put into those events,
right? Yeah, because you don't have extra money to like pay people to come and do that for you. It kind of defeats the purpose, right?
Yeah,
so you
for sure.
You want someone to come who's going to help, and you know, of course, it would be fun to. Of course, the fringe benefit is you get to come and you get to see the show, right?
Of course,
Of
always.
course. So, so you know, not just a hat rack, you know. So,
of course.
Now, when is this event that you got coming up?
So it is April 17th, which is a Friday. It's going to be from 6 to 9 at the Cas in South Buffalo. So it's kind of in that sweet spot right before our June showcase.
Right.
And it's after the snow, fingers crossed,
Let's hope
has
so.
gone. So, and the Cas has lots of parking down there, which is nice. So, you know, we're testing it out as a new location. We've had a lot of our events at Asbury Hall the last couple of years. Beautiful venue. Love that place. So, but we went and visited the Cas, and I actually got invited to go and see a show there. And the space is just, it's beautiful there too. And I love that. I sometimes think about events in terms of like, if we were to get kids to come and perform, like what a cool opportunity. So I'm kind of like, not only do I want to pick different venues sometimes for the events, because I think it'll fit nice in there in those venues, but I also pick them because I'm like, the kids would think this is really cool.
Oh, gosh, yes.
So yeah.
To get on a big stage like that. And I know just me, when I've performed, it's like, wow. This is a stage where, you know, I've done shows at the Riv, and it's like major stars have played on this stage, and you're like, wow, isn't it, you know, I've played the same stage as Marty Stewart, or, you know, and it's like, that's pretty neat, you know, and I could imagine if you're, you know, if you're a little one going, this is really neat, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes I think like, you know, are they going to be nervous because they're so young, and do they know kind of like what's happening for the concert, just because it's so different for them, and they're trying to take it all in. But a lot of our young students, they get really nervous to perform, and because it's the first time they've performed, and there's all these people they don't know out in the audience, and all of this fun stuff. So it's kind of cute just to see them in that.
Oh yeah, the nerves.
But then they get up on stage and they crush it.
Right.
Yeah.
And they do everything perfect, and it's great. So
yeah. Once you've rehearsed and you've practiced your instrument, you just get up there and it's like, all right, let's rock. Then you're not thinking about and of course, if it's a stage where there's a lot of lights, you don't see anybody out in the audience anyway.
Very true.
You don't want to look up at the lights because you'll blind yourself. So you just kind of look down and do your thing, and then it's like, oh, there's applause. It's neat. So that's
very true.
That's wild stuff. So now you mentioned June. So what's the big thing in June?
Yeah, so every June we have our June showcase, which is our last
semester.
Yeah, it's our concert for our last semester of the year. And so in the past we had it at UB one year because we had a partnership with UB that year, which was really, really cool. And then last year we held it at Asbury Hall. Typically our community concerts are always at Asbury.
Okay.
And that's where all of our students from Niagara Street, Nativity Miguel Middle School, and the adult program, they're all going to be somewhat together, I would say, on stage, but like they don't all fit on the Asbury Hall stage.
Right, yeah.
So they're at least all in the room together.
Okay, yeah.
And they do all perform together in some capacity.
Wow.
So yeah, it's very fun. The seats sometimes are limited, especially recently with all of the family members coming.
Yeah.
But it is so cool because our Nativity Miguel students will play pieces with the group, and so they're doing individual lessons throughout the year.
Okay.
So this is like the first time that they're really performing in a full group for an audience. So that's always really, really cool.
Right.
And they're so good.
Yeah.
They're so good. And every year I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this song. They pick the best songs. Their teachers do amazing. And we have a couple pieces. I think we're gonna try to get some other community groups with us. I think there was talks of maybe like Love Supreme doing a song with one of our groups of students. So it's going to be a little bit of that, but it's just like whatever the kids have been working on all semester, they get to perform it finally, and it's so cool.
Yeah. Now, do they do like little recitals during the course of the year or
so no? Not all of the students. So we have a group that is like the advanced ensemble is what they're called right now. And they're like our gigging group that goes out in the community.
Okay.
It was part of a student leadership program that we had where the students get paid a stipend to prepare for the gig, dress for the gig, arrive to the gig, perform the gig. And, they learned a lot about financial literacy and responsibility, of learning their part, because often it's like a small chamber group. So each person's on their own part.
Okay.
Which is like the first time that they've really played for an audience on their own part.
Right.
So that's a group that typically goes out and does like different events around. So like if an organization like M&T Bank or someone has like a reception or something and they want some background music, those students will go and play there. We did something with one of the news stations. Our students like performed, and then they did little like pop-up lessons where they teach audience members like how to play the instrument.
Oh, cool.
That was I think Christmas.
I can't remember what news station
I only remember it's November 16, the one my community event. So
yeah, they've also. So did they play at the Water Festival? They played at the Water Festival. They were at Juneteenth last year.
Yeah.
So they try to. We try to get them into some community spaces, just to get them some different experiences. So that's usually the group that has other types of recitals, but for a majority of the students, the end of year concert is the big one for them.
They ever get out to like assisted living homes or anything like that and perform for?
One, we have a student leader program. Like I started with that 21 to 24. We did it only we posted 25 to 26 because we planned a new stretcher. So right now we posted, but we are planning for new stretcher right now. So during transition period, before we play, so we go to like senior housing, and then they send the transportation, then the student and teacher go there and play, and
so we're trying to build the student leadership program into like
the new structure.
A new structure for the kids to do more like advocacy work in the community. In which performing for other marginalized groups and or just like other communities, such as, you know, assisted living facilities and things like that. So it's kind of in the works.
We was planning a new structure because that student who is student leader and also who is in the avant ensemble, and also they are like a high school, so they have too much work at the moment. So we don't want to give more stress and more, you know, work for them. So that's why we would like to divide it. Trying to that's just
Now, how did both of you end up working for Buffalo Stringworks? What brought you to the organization?
It's a good question. Do you want to go first?
When I go to Best Day, I'm start working with after school program. So since then, like a miracle, so I love to work with youth and student, and then and then another things like based on my experience and based what my community need, and like, you know, I'm also like a like immigrant too, so it's kind of like it's not easy to fit in this new system, new society. So we have to learn. Of course, we were trying to adjust, but so same thing, like a lot of students have the same feeling. It's like we have a hard time, but some of them drop out of school. It's like I don't want them to drop out of school. So it's like, how can I take them to, you know, to graduate, to finish, to carry this community to this. So that's how I started working nonprofit. But then like Buffalo Stringworks, when I start working, when I involved, there's a 75% from my community. And so I was like, oh, I love to work for my community. I was like, this is, you know, my dream job. I was like, kind of like suit for me. Like also I have a chance to work with the family. I can support what they need. There's a resource from like Johnny Zan, Jerokoro, like JCC. So all like, you know, Refugee Settlement Agency, IIB, they all support and help. So that's why we all work together for migrant, refugee immigrant, and also like low income, like whatever they need. So
Oh, that's great. Whitney, what brought you to the organizations?
Mine is not as nice as that.
You did a great job. You bring a lot of fun to, you know.
Thanks, eh?
Yeah.
I went to Fredonia for music industry because I grew up in a small town, and music was kind of the only thing that I was interested in. Did band, did chorus, you know, did the whole thing. But I didn't like playing my instrument. Which I think
I mean same thing, like I'm learning cello with the BSW. I only have 4 or 5 lessons. I don't have so far yet. It's like, you know,
I enjoyed playing music and I enjoyed playing my instruments, but only for me. Like we
love listening to music.
Yeah. We like listening to music.
There you go.
Yeah. So
everybody loves listening to music.
Right? So, So I went to Fredonia for music industry because that's a business degree that you don't have to audition for. But it's still in the music space. So I did that. And then a lot of people that I met from Fredonia lived in Buffalo, obviously, just given the location. And I said, I'm moving there. That's where I'm going. So I moved to Buffalo, no plan in sight. Was working at Wegmans and started volunteering actually at Asbury Hall. And I started helping just scan tickets for Asbury Hall. and one of the employees there, I was just chatting with her about how I was like, I need to find a job that's not where I'm working currently. And I want it to be in the music and like all of this stuff. And she was like, there's a nonprofit that has an office upstairs, because Asbury Hall has an upstairs space that's open office space. And BSW originally had their offices up there. She was like, there's a nonprofit upstairs that has a job opening. You should apply. And I was like, okay. So I like looked at it and I was like, I don't really know what development is, but I love the organization. Like I loved the mission. And I thought it was absolutely insane that like a large portion of Buffalo public schools do not have any instrumental music education. I was like, this is a lie. You're lying to me. But it's true. And so I was like, this is actually really interesting. So I got the job.
Yeah, there you go.
And here I am. And I love it.
Yeah.
So that's how I got here.
That's great. Now, before we got on air, you had mentioned that you worked a little bit with my buddies from Garage.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
Yeah. What'd you do for them?
Yeah. So when I was at Fredonia, one of our classes was like marketing. It was like an A&R like thing. And so we had to like pitch to the class artists, and then the class signed like 4 groups. So cool. Grosh got signed.
Nice.
So I was like their A&R rep for school.
Yeah.
And then after I was graduating, like after we were done, I told them, I was like, you know, if you want, I was mostly just doing like social media posting for them, creating posters for their events and stuff, and looking up all kinds of different venues that they could play in, like around Buffalo, around Ohio, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And stuff like that. So I was kind of just helping on the backside to like get them out there a little bit. And so yeah, after the class they were like, hey, if you want to keep doing it. I was like, I'd love to. So yeah, I did that for a while. Still do it sometimes, but you know, they got it now.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. So
yeah, I see Josh and Grace are doing some kooky videos now, so they're
so great.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, who are some of the other groups that were signed during that? Do you remember? Or?
Do I remember?
Because there's just so many great young groups here in Buffalo. So
I think that semester honestly was a little traumatic for me, and so I think I was kind of like tunnel visioned on just like getting through.
Yeah.
So Grosh is really the only thing that's in my brain. Yeah, I can't really remember who else was in that group.
Who was running that class?
So that was Armand Petrie.
Armand, love Armand.
Yeah,
Armand's been down here on the podcast.
Yeah. So he was the professor for a bunch of the classes for music industry. I think he said that he was one of the reasons that music industry exists at Fredonia.
Yes.
Because it's, you know, you have to audition, but there's tons of people that have the passion and the talent for music business, but you know, it was like if you don't play an instrument, then you don't get to learn about it. So he kind of was like, we're going to make a business degree out of this.
And for those people who are playing the instruments, there's a business side. You got to know what you're doing, or you're going to, I mean, just ask Billy Joel how many times he got fleeced, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so.
Yeah, but I think the music industry major was so cool. You learn so much about the history of the music industry, and you know, you take a copyrights and a contracts class, so you learn a little bit of like music law, like you just get so much insight into it. So
I wish they had something like that when I was way back in the day, but you know, it would be fun to go back and learn that stuff, just to learn it. You know,
I mean, when I was there, so I went to a community college before I went to Fredonia because I didn't know Fredonia existed, in my small town that I came from, and there was someone in my class that was a little bit older, and I think she worked with another like local artist. And she wanted to learn more about the business side.
Sure.
Because I think they were like producers of some kind, and she just like didn't fully understand. So she was taking classes to learn more about it. So it's definitely possible. It's just like,
well, and Armand is certainly the person to learn from, because if you know Armand's story and who he's worked with over the years, 10,000 Maniacs and the Goos, and yeah, he's done some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's just a smidge. So yeah, but well, as I mentioned before we got on the air, we go for an hour. We've reached the top of the hour. It goes fast. This has been fun. So I can't thank you guys enough for coming down and letting everybody know about Buffalo String Works.
Yeah, thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I really like to promote as well as promote our musicians, and then the industry professionals and the groups around town that are keeping the music alive, as I like to say. It's all about the music. So let's keep supporting, and I'll have some links on my website at rockabillygreg.com where you can find out more about Buffalo String Works and put those dates on your calendar to come to their event. And if you can get in to see the show at Asbury Hall in June, that's a great problem to have.
That's an amazing problem to have.
Yeah, so. SRO, man. You'll have to get the TVs outside so people can stand on the sidewalks and watch it outside. But Whitney, thanks again for coming down, and for everyone who's tuned in. I hope you've had just as much fun as we have this week, and learned something. So hopefully you'll take away something from today's episode. And as always, you can find the episode where you get your podcast at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, thebuffalohive.com, YouTube, and of course you can always find the podcast at rockabillygreg.com, where it's all about the music. And I will have some links, as I mentioned, at the website, and I'll hopefully get some videos and some other things up there, so you guys can take a look and see what Buffalo String Works is all about. So again, Whitney, thanks for coming down. For everyone who's tuned in, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. In the Flamingo Lounge is made possible in part by CatsLikeUs.com, your online store for authentic vintage clothing and accessories. Buffalo Ironworks, an intimate live music venue and bar located in the Cobblestone District in downtown Buffalo. And by Diamond Hawk Golf Course and Pub, Western New York's premier golf course, restaurant, and banquet facility. At the Hawk, the bar is hopping year-round with live music every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and some other nights, too. Tune in for a new episode every Saturday at 9 a.m. EST at rockabillygreg.com, where it's all about the music. Bark, Zoe, bark. Good girl.